Hello students, good morning. Today class we will start with chapter 6, that is basic concepts of OOP. The weightage of this chapter is 7 marks, one from 2 marks and another from 5 marks. This is completely theoretical chapter. The objectives of this chapter are evolution of programming techniques, basic concepts of OOP, advantages and disadvantages of OOP, application of OOP. Let's start with evolution of programming technique. In this, first one is procedural technique, structured programming and object-oriented programming. Okay, we will see procedural technique. This is earlier high-level language or typically called as procedural language. Procedural programming mainly focuses on processing of sequential instructions to perform tasks. It gives more importance to logic to solve the problem. Basic, Fortran, COBOL and Pascal are the examples of procedural technique. So I can take an example here, that is add two numbers. First step is ask the user to enter two numbers. Then you have an operator with the find the sum. Display the output. This is nothing but logic and step-by-step execution. So the major disadvantage is no restriction for accessing the data. The next one is structured programming. What do you mean by structured programming? Structured programming is nothing but using three constructs, that is sequence, branch and loop. What do you mean by sequence? Whenever execute any program, the main function is loaded in the main memory. Program and execution is sequential, that is line by line. Next is branch. Branch is nothing but decision making statement, that is if else statement. If certain thing is true, you execute certain set of statements. If certain thing is false, then you execute other set of statements, is called branching. Branching is always depending on the condition. Next is loop. Loop is nothing but iteration statement. You execute certain set of statements again and again. If you want repeated execution, then you use looping. So all these together, any program written with the help of three basic constructs is called structured programming, and then it follows top-down approach. We know that two kinds of approach, top-down and bottom up. Top down approach means main function decompose into lower components. Example of structured programming is C language. Okay students, next is the characteristics of structured programming. What are the different characteristics in structured programming? Large program divided into smaller program known as functions. Each function compute something, finally merged together will get result and easy to debug. Most of the function share global data. Global data means that large program divided into number of function. Each function can use that data, that is called global data. Data move freely from function to function, that is no restriction for accessing data. It employs top-down approach. Students, in first year PUC, we learned top-down approach, that is main function decompose into lower component. The emphasis is on doing things. That means like main is on function, that is you have to repeat something, you have to take in the value, you have to compute something. So emphasis on doing something, not on the data. Coming to the object-oriented programming language. This is also called as OOP, that is OOP. It is associated with the concept of class and objects. These are main pillar used in object-oriented concepts, and various other concepts like inheritance, hiding, polymorphism, etc. are used. So everything is focused on real life think. Nowadays, everyone prefer to work on OOP language. This OOP language make secure application and make the restrict data. That means data and functions bind together that operate on them. No other part of the code can access the data except that function. Example of object-oriented programming languages are C++, Java, Python, etc. Next, we will start with basic concepts of object-oriented programming. We will be study each concept as a separate chapter in the coming chapters. First one is the object. In short form, object is an instance of class. An object is a real-world element that combines data and functions into single unit. So then, what is class? A class is a blueprint or prototype from which objects are created. That means to create an object we need a class. To access the elements of class we need to have an object. So we will see what is class and object. Observe the figure. For example, I have a class like CSBA. What are the things there? I will have register number, name, combination and marks. This is data, is also called as data members. Then total, average, display result, these are function. This is also called as methods. Then how I will define object for this? I need to create an object around 30 students and each students will have all these for each student. These things are common but values are different. Each student will have attachment of data members and next is encapsulation. That means we restrict to access of data. It will not move freely from function to function. So how to do that? The property of encapsulation is storing data and function in a single unit. In this, to achieve the data security, we will be storing data and function into single unit called class. This is data encapsulation. Next is abstraction, the process of representing essential features without including background details or explanation. For example, take a mobile phone. In this, you don't need to know the internal working of the mobile phone. To operate with it, you have an interface to use the device behavior without knowing the implementation details. Is polymorphism. Polymorphism is also called as overloading. In C++, there are two types. One is function overloading and another is operator overloading. In your syllabus, you have only function overloading, the ability of a function or data to be processed in more than one forum. For example, a boy may present in many places to perform many different tasks. A boy in college, a boy is a student. A boy in playground, a boy is a sportsman. A boy in bus, a boy is a passenger. A boy in hospital, a boy is a patient. Now we will see inheritance, a mechanism by which one class acquires the properties, that is data and operations of another class. In simple words, creating a new class from existing class. New class is called derived class and existing class is called base class. Next coming chapter we will discuss detail. Next is dynamic binding. Dynamic binding, something means which happen during runtime, that is during the execution of a program. The binding is happens is called dynamic. Next is the advantages of object-oriented programming. First is simplicity. Simplicity means that complexity is reduced in a program and it is very clear and simple because it is in the form of object. Second one is modularity. You have a different parts or object, that is called modularity. Third one, extensibility. Extensibility means that adding new features to the existing one. Fourth one is flexibility. OOP is very flexible in different situations. Fifth one is the maintainability. Objects can maintain separately. Sixth one is the reusability. Objects can reusing in different programs. The disadvantages of OOP. First is the larger program size. OOP involve more line of code than procedural language. It is slower programs, not suitable for all types of program. You don't have to write always OOP. Fourth one is the some OOPs techniques like inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation are challenging to manage initially. Fifth one is it is complex to create programs based on interaction of objects. Applications of object-oriented programming. Here you don't have to explain how does it work. You mention it where it is used. The use in computer graphic applications, CAD, CAM software, object-oriented database, user interface design such as Windows, real-time systems, simulation and modeling, artificial intelligence and expert system. Next is difference between procedural programming and object-oriented programming. In procedural programming, programs are divided into smaller programs known as function. In object-oriented programming, programs are divided into object. In procedural programming, data is not hidden. We already discussed data can be accessed by external function. In object-oriented programming, data is hidden. That means that encapsulation and cannot be accessed by external functions. In procedural programming, it follows top-down approach. Object-oriented programming, it follows bottom-up approach. In procedural programming, data may communicate with each other using the functions. In object-oriented programming, objects may communicate with each other through functions. Procedural programming, overloading is not possible, but in object-oriented programming, overloading is possible.